Hello and welcome along to part 17 of this Dark Souls guiding playthrough. So we've arrived in Anor Londo. We spoke to the Firekeeper in the last episode and she explained to us that we need to go forwards in our journey or adventure. So you'll remember that from the previous episode when we came into Anor Londo we passed by two sentinels. So what you want to do is equip, if you've got the Clarantry ring, equip it. Same with the Grasscrest shield, because these guys, if you use your shield to block these guys' attacks, they take up a massive amount of stamina. Each hit takes up a massive amount of your stamina. So yeah, and you want to get as many hits in against these guys as possible. Take them on one at a time. Don't take them on, you know, in a group, because yeah, it just makes the fight exceedingly difficult. There you go, you can see blocking one of his attacks took out nearly, you know, 3/4 of my stamina. But you can see that with a decently powered weapon, you know, you can take them out in a few hits. You've just got to watch, obviously, for, you know, that's if you're mid-rolling, I would suggest taking armour off so that you fast roll, because these guys aren't particularly fast. We'll pick up the item here, and remember at this point you've been introduced to the mimics, so always make sure that the coil comes forward. That's Ornstein, we'll come to him later. You don't need to fight that sentinel out there. You get two different types of sentinels. You've got these ones, which are the regular ones, with about 500 health points, and you've got the royal sentinels who we'll encounter later. All the servants of the deities are susceptible to occult weapons. They're weak to occult weapons. Unfortunately you won't have picked one up by this point, but you know, if you come through here in New Game Plus, that you can use an occult weapon and it'll take these guys out quicker. So there's a lot of imagery in Anor Londo, and a lot of statues and effigies and symbology, semiotics, these kind of things. You can see we had Ornstein in one room, so a statue dedicated to Ornstein, and we've got a statue dedicated to a character called Smough, or Smo, in this room, with his massive hammer. These are characters we'll come to later. But yeah, the difference is you've got Royal Sentinels and you've got these guys. The Royal Sentinels have a blue cape. The Royal Sentinels are also capable of area of effect attacks, the Wrath of the Gods sorcery, and they can also heal. These guys can't. The shield bash that they do in the ground is a particularly devastating attack. That one. Well, he doesn't get the chance to get it off, but yeah. So I would suggest being at fast roll and dodging out of the way of these guys. They're not difficult. So we've got two chests in this room. You can see that the coil's coiled backwards in that one, and it's coiled forward here. There's a slight difference in the colour as well. So you know this is a proper chest, whereas this one's a mimic. You can use the Lloyd's Talisman. You can use Lloyd's Talisman to put these guys, if you activate them, throw a talisman at them, they'll go docile and you can get the treasure inside them. You can throw one before and you can get the treasure from it as well. Anyway, we picked up a crystal weapon. Crystal weapons are, as you can see, more powerful than their normal weapon equivalent. Considerably more powerful. We've got a +7 halberd, and the crystal halberd does more damage, a lot more damage. The problem is that if you look back a couple of seconds, you'll see that they've only got 1/10 of the normal durability of the weapon equivalent. So this one's only got 20 durability, this crystal weapon, and once you've used the weapon up, you can't repair it. But they're better suited to New Game Plus, where you've got a lot of souls. There's an ember you can pick up later, the crystal ember, and it allows you to create these crystal weapons. But yeah, I'd say it's something more suited to New Game Plus and maybe PvP as well. New Game Plus because you've got lots of souls, and PvP just, I guess, because it gives you a wee extra edge. I'm just going to use my crystal halberd here because I've been using the halberd, and why not use a more powerful one? This one was free. So we encounter a gargoyle again. Not difficult by this point. They're weak to fire if you're struggling with them. No, weak to lightning. Sorry, not fire. Fire as well, actually. Weak to lightning and fire, and they have the chance to drop the gargoyle shields and halberd and axe and whatnot. Come around here, pick up the item. Think it's a upgrade item. Yeah, demon titanite. Which will remember upgrades things like any of the demon weapons, like demon weapons. No. Come through this tunnel. There's nothing up here. I always forget that. I always come up here thinking there's something, but there's nothing. At the far side of this, the gargoyle was guarding. See that contraption, the big circular contraption in the distance? That's an elevator. And basically that's a defensive structure. It's designed to keep people out of the cathedral, the Anor Londo cathedral. So you need to come up this way to progress through the level. There's no way to activate that contraption without coming through here first. And we actually come to one of the most interesting rooms in the game, and one of the most, what's the word, not exciting, challenging. It's a challenging wee room for a number of reasons. There's physical challenges. These guys are painted warriors. They're very obedient. They've been given a task, and that task is to guard a portal to a new area, an area called the Painted World of Ariamis, but that's something we'll talk about later. So you can see that some of these painted guardians are up here in the rafters. Use an arrow, use your bow and arrow to take these guys out, or not to take them out, that's the wrong word. This first one, what you want to do is you want to pull him over to where you are. You don't want to have to fight them on the beams, because you might end up like suffering the fate of Black Iron Tarkus, who, as we'll see later on, came along the same path as we did and fell from these beams to his death. Anyway, not getting my hits in here. The one that causes the most trouble to me anyway, out of these three painted guardians, is the last one, the one on the far right there. The second one, you can actually knock off the ledge using the bow and arrow. This one obviously doesn't present any challenge because you draw him down towards you. And that's something I've never seen him do before, fall off like that. Anyway, here he comes. You can actually get the painted guardian armour set later on in the game. Not particularly good in my opinion, but if you want to try it, you'll be able to find it. They have a weapon, I think it's called the painted sword or something like that. It causes bleed damage. It's kind of similar to the bandit knife. These kind of weapons, I think it's a curved sword actually. But yeah, it causes bleed damage. These guys also have throwing knives, and they can backstab you, and they're quite fast. You want to take them on one at a time. They're not the kind of, just like the sentinels, you don't want to take them on in a group. Anyway, come over here and you can actually break the chain. I just wish there was a sound effect that went along with that. Could have been excellent, but not to be. So aim for this guy's head, and if you hit him, you'll knock him off, and he's dead. You can see we've got more statues in here. I always get confused with the Lord Gwyn's children. That's one of Lord Gwyn's children. I think that's Guinevere with the bust, and she's surrounded on either, she's flanked, sorry, on either side by silver knights or black knights. It's hard to tell. Yeah, my palms always sweat massively in this area. I like to put on the Ring of Sacrifice because I hate dying here. So you can see, be careful with locking on to these guys on the beams, because if you lock on you might end up getting, you know, dragged off the edge, or... But yeah, it's a relief to come to the other side. I remember when I first started playing this game, you know, that this was one of the toughest areas for me. And Anor Londo's full of little traps and challenges. One of the most dreaded parts of... see the chest over there actually, just while we're here we might as well go over and get the item. Some people don't understand, that's wrong, that sounds patronising. Some people just miss out on that chest, not realising that there is an easy way to get there. You don't have to jump from the beams, although I believe you can. This is just to show you this isn't the way to come. There's no way across here, but if you go up to the next level, you'll see you just roll down here onto the plinth for the next to the statue of Guinevere, and then roll off here on the opposite side. And we go up. It's not actually a particularly great item. I got a fright there actually, I forgot he was there. Yeah, it's not a particularly useful item. It's one of the divine blessings. We picked one of them up in Sen's Fortress. They just restore your health, and I think they get rid of some status effects like toxic and poison and whatnot. But yeah, impressive statues in Anor Londo. So roll over here, come up the stairs. It's interesting, the painted guardians, like I say, very obedient servants. I'm not sure if they're susceptible or weak to... nice bust. Susceptible or weak to occult weapons, but you don't find them anywhere else apart from this building. You can see we've got another gargoyle to take on. Not a problem though. So what you want to do is, this is a defensive structure I was talking about. It's designed as like a, to stop people from accessing the cathedral. It's also got another purpose obviously, and that's to take, I guess, deities between the different levels of Anor Londo. And anyway, this guy, you can get a plunging attack off on him. There you go. We managed to get his tail as well. You can see the crystal weapons do a massive amount of damage, and we're lucky there. We get a good drop. We get the hallowed and we get his shield. I don't think I'll really use them in this playthrough, but decent weapons, decent shield. That's the way forward. We're not going to go in there right away. I would suggest, if you're a new player and you've never been to Anor Londo before, I would suggest coming down this path, go to the bottom of the stairs, we've got another level to go to below, but first of all come in here, and this is the room where all the painted guardians are. We were up above in the rafters a moment ago. Take this guy out first as you come in. He's in the left, and again, don't fight these guys. Don't fight them in a group. Fight them one at a time. Yeah, it's good. I like the continuity that they've kept the two dead painted guardians in, and not allowed them to kind of dissolve into ether. These guys have fast combo attacks, so that's another reason you don't want to fight them in a group. You can see at the other end of this room, at one end we've got Guinevere, the statue of her. The other end we've got the painting of the painted world of Ariamis. And just in case, to jog your memory, the painted world, like that, that's the halberd showing its strength again, its moveset. Just to jog your memory about the painted world, it's a place where the gods put creatures and items that were detrimental or harmful to the gods. So things like embers, there's certain embers there, certain weapons, certain people in the Ariamis that the gods didn't want hanging around. So they put them there, and they got the painted guardians to stop anybody, I guess, entering the painted world and bringing something back from it. Anyway, there's plenty of these guys around here. So come and pick the item up. It's a great magic weapon. It just increases sorcery, that if you're into that, it increases damage output of your weapon. It gives it like a buff. I accidentally make a mistake here. You can see that I've pulled 3 of these painted warriors, painted guardians, and I decided to put the Ring of Steel protection on just to give me a wee bit more yeah, protection against damage. You can see sometimes they've got two of their swords in their hands. Other times they put a shield into one of their hands. I don't think they can parry, I'm not sure, they can definitely backstab. But yeah, I love the halberd's moveset, it's just excellent, you know, it's fast. And yeah, once you get a move going, nothing can stop it. Change rings again. I want the gold ring, the covetous gold ring, just to increase my item find, just so I can get item drops and show new players what can be picked up from different enemies. This is a gargoyle halberd. You can see that it gave me like different status effects. Don't worry about that; it's nothing really to worry about. You can see that this weapon deals a pitiful amount of damage compared to the crystal weapon. But this isn't an upgraded gargoyle halberd. There you go, he's got his shield in one hand here. 16 and 34, I mean that's really not good enough. Time to change weapon, I think. So you can see that there's a painting guarding an item, and we talked about Black Iron Tarkus, and what's interesting is that in Sen's Fortress, the Crestfallen Merchant talked about Tarkus and how he failed his mission, and the way that the Crestfallen Merchant words it suggests that he was aware of Tarkus failing in Anor Londo, which suggests maybe that the Crestfallen Merchant made it this far. Anyway, this is the Black Iron set. It's one of the best sets in the game in terms of heavy armour, and gives you massive fire defence. When it's fully upgraded, it really is good armour. I'm not particularly fond of its look, especially the helmet and the chest piece. It's got this kind of frilly material coming out from the bottom of it. It just doesn't look that great. But it is good in terms of when you're taking on enemies that deal out heavy damage. So come back up here, and you need to use the key or the lever to activate the contraption again, or the lift again, and bring it down to one more level. The gods must have had access to some brilliant engineers. I mean, to build something like this, that's unbelievable engineering. Come in here. This is a tomb, and you can see there's Lord Gwyn, and we've got this. Basically, this is a tomb. You can see all the burial. So we pick up the ring of the sun's firstborn. And this ring belonged to Lord Gwyn's son. This is an unnamed son. The son who apparently behaved in a foolish manner. It led to the loss of the annals. The annals obviously contained important information like hereditary information, which is important to aristocracy and to royalty. And probably information about land and power and whatnot. So the question you might ask yourself is that person, the dead person, Lord Gwyn's unnamed first son? Probably not, and the reason is because this ring actually has a function. So you can actually use that ring in that room, but we won't do that until later, and I suggest if you're watching this guide and you're a new player not to do that. Also, just while we're coming up here and we're walking away from the tomb, I can't emphasise enough, if you're a new player, come down to the tomb and ignite the fire, sit at the bonfire, because there's a very challenging area coming up, and you don't want to have to spawn again all the way back up at the top of Anor Londo. Do you know, I always get this wrong. I always go to the area, I think, where the bridge or the lift is going to connect and take me forward, and I get to the wrong bit. I'm always facing the wrong way. So we want to be going up these stairs, and you can see this shows you as well as you come up to the cathedral, the home of the gods. You can see there's a few items to pick up on the left there, and we'll come and get them later. But you can see we've got two sets of stairs. I'm just showing you that just now by walking on them. You've got the big stairs, which are for giants, and you've got the smaller stairs with a smaller gap for normal humans. So we meet more of these sentinels. That was pretty careless and clumsy. Pretty agile for being massive brass soldiers. Or massive brass, yeah, soldiers is fine. Anyway, take these guys out. Just fight them one at a time. You don't need to take the other guy out, the guy on the left as we come up the stairs. Just ignore him for now, because you can't get through the door that he's guarding. Not until later. We're going to encounter a new enemy here. Well, we've seen them in the last episode. They're the demons that brought us here. The Batwing demons. Again, their actions are inconsistent with the demons that we've already encountered, like Taurus demon, Capra demon. But these Batwing demons, they fire lightning, or they have lightning damage on top of physical damage. So you want a shield like the Eagle shield, because it's got 75% lightning block. Their weapon's actually has the longest reach of any weapon in the game. They're really annoying. They move around lots. And also they move back the way when you hit them. Their weapon, when it connects with you, seems to kind of push you back as well. I just find them really annoying. You can actually cheese them, you can actually just walk up to them, and this is really strange and inconsistent. They have wings, and we've seen that they can fly, because they brought us here by flying us from Sen's Fortress up to Anor Londo, and yet they fall off and die. Doesn't make sense, but I don't know what's going on there. I mean, I don't think From Software would have overlooked something like that, so I'm not sure what they're trying to say with it. But anyway, you can just cheese these guys. And away he goes. So we're going to come down to one of the most challenging and frustrating parts of the games for lots of players. It actually becomes quite straightforward once you get used to it. You've got these two Batwing demons to take care of first. Just try and kill them as quickly as possible. Some people suggest taking them back out there onto the wee kind of ledge, and you can kind of cheese them to fall off. It's up to you. If you've got a good weapon, you can take them out like this quite quickly. And we're lucky we actually get the Demon Spear. It's a decent weapon. So you can see that arrows are raining down on us, and these aren't normal arrows, these are massive Dragon Slayer arrows designed to take down dragons. And it's actually the Silver Knights that are shooting at us. There's two Silver Knight archers up above who are guarding the way to Anor Londo, to the entrance to the Cathedral of Anor Londo. There you go, there's the description for the Demon Spear. Like I say, good weapon, long reach. So this is the point here where the poison arrows come into play. If you don't know how to parry and riposte by this point, use your poison arrows and aim way above the Silver Knight's head. One of the reasons you want to bring the Batwing demons onto the kind of platform is so that these guys don't aggro, these two archers, and you can fire your poison arrows. It'll take quite a while, so if you're using arrows, be prepared to wait 10 minutes or more. If you're confident parrying, come up here quickly, roll here, so you roll away over the arrow, and heal, change over to a sword, and now this is when you're going to get your parry in. There we go. And the crystal weapon at this point in new game is strong enough to take this guy out at the level of strength we have. If you look in that window, you could have seen a familiar face if you were quick. The other guy is guarding a hero soul, which is like 10,000 or 20,000 souls. I think it's 10,000. But we'll go back to that later. If you want to, you can go and get it just now, but I would suggest if you're a new player, just rolling off there and coming in here. And the reason you want to do that is because you get access, that's the window up there, you get access to a bonfire, and we meet Solaire.
There you are. You've been quiet these days. Smooth summoning out there. Anytime you see my brilliantly shining signature, do not hesitate to call upon me. You've left me with quite an impression. I would relish a chance to assist you.
So yeah, the last time we seen Solaire, he was in awe of the sun.
Fond of chatting with me, aren't If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me. Oh no, Jimmy, pretend you didn't hear that.
Yeah, interesting fella, Sawyer. We seen him last at the Undead Burg. You can actually, you can summon him into boss fight in this area. Make sure whatever you do that you talk to him, because if you don't, his storyline doesn't progress. You'll have probably accumulated a decent amount of souls coming through Anor Londo, so level up your character, repair all your weapons and whatnot, and I hope this episode was helpful.